Dracula. The very mention of the name brings to mind things so evil, so fantastic, so degrading. You wonder if it isn't all a dream, a nightmare.
But it isn't one of a kind.
Buenas noches, Señor Renfield.
I want to suck your blood in español. Paulie here on the Latino Slant. Thanks for being here. Make sure you are subscribed. Consider becoming a member because memberships have perks like a connection to this story, the 1931 Dracula in Espanol. Yes, there is a Spanish Dracula film that literally was filmed at the same time as the great Bela Lugosi movie. That is the story we're going to get into. However, if you are a member, we will be having a watch party with you guys. That's right, members only movie night this month. Later on for Halloween's going to be Dracula, 1931's Dracula. So that's the topic there. So let's get right to this. Spanish Dracula finds new blood more than 90 years after its release. This is by Mandalit del Barco from NPR. It's a 7-minute listen. But here it says in 1931, Universal Studios shot this classic horror film, Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi as a blood-sucking count from Transylvania. But after production was wrapped for the day, an entirely new cast arrived at night to redo all the scenes in Spanish. Just take that into consideration. 1931. Someone had the audacity to say, hey, let's film a Spanish version of this at night. Same sets, same, setups, and double up. Brilliant. So we're also going to check out some of this video in a second as well. Did you guys ever know about this film? I knew about it, but I didn't know the details, and there's new details coming of a new version of Dracula from the descendants of the filmmakers, but more on that in a minute. Let's get back to this story. So, this version of Dracula in Espanol starred Carlos Villarias and as the caped vampire out for blood. He had been a stage actor in Spain and his resemblance to Bela Lugosi was uncanny, said the late actress Lupita Tovar, who played the lovely Eva. They were so much alike, but the main difference was their hands. She said in the video for the Complete Legacy collection of Dracula, Lugosi had long fingers, and Carlos had shorter fingers. Tovar reminisced about working the graveyard shift. We shot all night long till the next morning because we usually use the exact same sets. As a matter of fact, the same marks as the English cast got. We stepped in at the same place. She remembered the creepy scenery and its dark shadows, lit candles, and cobwebs. Once you went onto that set, it was a different world. You became under the spell of Dracula, she said. If anybody will touch me, I would scream. I was frightened, and she felt really scared, and I felt really scared of Dracula, And here's a fantastic picture of Carlos Villarias as Dracula and the late Lupita Tovar. Just stunning.
La sangre de Drácula corre ya por las venas de la señorita Sua.
Dracula, vino.
The actors were from different Spanish-speaking countries, but director George Melford didn't speak the language. His directions were translated for the cast and crew. We wanted our version to be the best, Tovar said. And according to the critics, I think it was. That is interesting. I will tell you right now that in certain circles, a lot of people feel this Spanish version is actually better than Bela. What? Yeah, I heard that. Now you hear it. Okay. By all accounts, it's true. The version of Dracula was 29 minutes longer than the English version. Tovar's son, Pancho Connor, said Melford and Villarias would watch scenes shot during the day and make improvements. They were able to set up better camera angles and add more exciting elements. They didn't have to contend with the Hays office, the censorship. My mother wore a low-cut negligee and was very sexy. My father, who was in love with my mother, he was on the set. He was producing it. He made sure it was a better film. All right, well, that's incentive. Fantastic. Conner, who became a producer like his father, helped his mother write her memoirs before she died in 2016 at the age of 106. Beautiful. He says she was a high school student in Oaxaca when Robert J. Flattery, excuse me if I get that wrong, the director of the film Nanook of the North, discovered her. Fox Studios had sent him to find the most beautiful girl in Mexico. My mother came down to Mexico with her Irish grandmother as her chaperone, Conner said. Tovar spent a year at Fox Studios doing small bits, but she didn't speak English. When talkies came in, they weren't going to renew her contract. And there's Pancho right there with a portrait of his mother, Lupita. And let's get a bigger picture of that. That portrait is by the great Mexican muralist Diego Rivera of Lupita. Fantastic. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I always love these stories, and I'm now more excited to see this, and hopefully you'll see it with all the members here. Again, comment and share this video. Let me know what y'all think. It's always good to have these stories and cover them here on the Latino Slant. We love covering just anything that's retro to the latest things that are coming out of Hollywood from the Latino Slant perspective. Okay, let's get back into this with Conner and his mom. Someone at Fox recommended her to Universal, where she met the head of dubbing, Paul Conner, who fell instantly in love with her. Tovar was reluctantly getting ready to go back to Mexico, but getting her signed on to Dracula in Spanish was part of Connor's plan, said Chris Weiss, the grandson of Tovar and Conner, who were married for more than 50 years. Weiss is now a well-known director, and so his brother Paul. Together, the Weiss brothers are writing a script for a movie about the making of Spanish Dracula. Pancho Connor, their uncle, will produce it. So that's great. All in the family of event. Like I said, descendants of the originals. I'm really interested. I want to link this in the chat because I want to jump to the ending of this story, where Eugenio Derbez, the great Mexican actor, is actually taking on the role of this Dracula production with all these gentlemen. And Derbez is going to be directing as well. Ben Odell, the producer, said that this version, Dracula is a ham. He loves the attention. He loves the applause. He's a theater actor, so he's disgusted by the movie business. When he's offered this movie role, he turns it down at first. He's like, don't they know who I am? The Lupita characters, based on stories from her memoir, Lupita was very afraid of her father, who was an alcoholic and was abusive. So this idea that there's this monster at home, said Odell, she doesn't want to go back to Mexico. With the silent era ending, she thinks she may be forced to go back. This is a really fantastic audio and print story that Mandelita del Barco did. I will have this link in the chat, in the video description. But I'm always fascinated with film history, and now it's new history, whereas the descendants of both these people, Lupita and Conner, are producing this movie with the great Eugenio Derbez. And Eugenio is considered, and this kind of doesn't do him justice, what I'm going to say, but he is considered the Mexico's Latin Americans Jim Carrey. And that really doesn't even do him justice, even his popularity. But I will say, in the range that Carrey has, as far as physical slapstick, all the way to taking on serious roles, Eugenio can do that in a heartbeat. All right, my friends. Well, that's it for this, that's it for this Dracula in Espanol. Let me know what you guys think. Are you fans of Dracula? I absolutely love stories like this. We'll keep on giving it to you guys as well, from old Hollywood to new Hollywood and all those in between. This is The Slant. Wherever you're at, keep your slant fuerte. Gracias.